You didn't need to do anything wrong. Sometimes, just being noticed was enough. 1 second, the room buzzed with whispers and shifting chairs. The next, everything froze. Back straight, eyes forward. Silence, and somehow, you already knew. Today might be your turn. Classrooms in 1950s Britain weren't just places to learn. They were spaces where every movement felt observed, every mistake carried weight, and every child understood one thing very quickly. Standing out was dangerous. Rows of wooden desks, ink bottles lined up, and the constant awareness that attention, any attention, could change your entire day. And the strange part? At the time, none of this felt unusual. It was just school. If you enjoy uncovering stories like this, you might find yourself right at home with Hidden Plates, UK. And please subscribe this YouTube channel. To understand those classrooms, you have to zoom out, beyond the chalkboard. Britain was still recovering from war. Resources were tight, classrooms were packed, sometimes 40 children with a single teacher. There wasn't room for flexibility, so structure became survival. Discipline wasn't seen as harsh, it was seen as necessary. A way to maintain order, keep lessons moving, and prepare children for a world where rules weren't optional. Respect wasn't negotiated, it was expected. And correction? That often happened in full view of everyone. Not to embarrass, but to reinforce standards quickly and clearly. Today we talk about confidence, emotional safety, and personal growth. Back then, the goal was different. Build resilience, enforce order, and shape children into adults who could endure. And once you understand that mindset, something else starts to click. Because discipline didn't always look the way you'd expect. It wasn't always shouting. In fact, the moments that stayed with people the longest were often silent. A name spoken, a glance toward the wall, a simple instruction to stand apart, and suddenly, you were alone. No explanation, no discussion, just the unmistakable feeling of every eye in the room, even if no one dared turn around, or worse, staying behind after the bell. The room empties, chairs scrape, voices fade, and you're left there, pretending it doesn't matter. The actual correction? Often brief, sometimes barely a sentence, but that wasn't the point. What stayed wasn't the punishment. It was the feeling, the heat in your face, the knot in your stomach, the realization that being noticed could be worse than being wrong. So children adapted. They learned to stay quiet, blend in, avoid attention at all costs, and over time, those small moments shaped something much bigger, a generation that understood how to disappear into the background. But the system didn't stop there, because even silence had its own language. You didn't always need words to be corrected. A name written in a book, a mark placed on the board, a desk moved slightly away from the others. Nothing dramatic, but everything changed. These small signals followed you, through the lesson, through the day, sometimes even beyond the school gates, and everyone understood what they meant. Then there were the inspections, a slow walk between desks, eyes scanning for anything out of place, a missing button, scuffed shoes, untidy work. For many children, it wasn't about carelessness. Life simply wasn't perfect. Clothes were reused, mornings were rushed, but expectations didn't bend. Looking right meant fitting in. Looking different meant standing out. And standing out came with consequences. No one called it harsh. It was just conformity, quietly enforced, believed to prepare children for the real world. Today, individuality is often encouraged. Back then, it was corrected. And those daily moments of being observed, measured, and silently judged left an impression that didn't fade easily. Which brings us to what all of this actually created. Those classrooms didn't just teach lessons, they shaped people. For some, that strict environment built strength, discipline, focus, reliability. the ability to push through without complaint. Those traits stayed with them for life, but for others, something quieter lingered. A hesitation to speak up, a habit of staying unnoticed, a discomfort with praise that never quite went away. And the thing is, back then, no one really talked about it. Reflection came later, often in silence. Looking back now, it's not about saying it was right or wrong. It's about understanding both sides. Those schools belong to a different time, built on necessity, shaped by belief. And while education has changed dramatically, those experiences didn't just disappear, they echo. Step into a classroom today and everything feels different. Conversation, support, encouragement. But somewhere, in the memories of those who lived it, those old classrooms are still there, quiet, ordered, watching. And maybe that's why these stories still matter. If this brought back a memory, or helped you understand one, share it in the comments. Your perspective adds something no textbook ever could. And if you want more stories like this from Hidden Plates UK, and please subscribe this YouTube channel.